Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson, World Alternative Media here, and we are joined once again by Jeffrey Tucker, and always a pleasure talking with you, sir.
Good to be here. Good to be here. Thanks so much. This is a fun conference this year. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people with a lot of great ideas, and another good thing about a bear market here at the Miami Bitcoin Conference, by the way, a good thing about a bear market is people are strategizing about what's next and how they can innovate the market rather than how they can make money fast, which is always a good thing.
I know it. It's much better than last year. Last year was a little chaotic and, it was at the height of the bull market in a way. And so I think we had was it 6,000 or something? No, it wasn't that many. Maybe it was like 4,000. So we've got about 1,000 people here, but they're extremely knowledgeable. All the top industry players. Everybody's super excited about the future. I'm learning a lot from all the talks, actually.
And that's great. And I wanted to talk about something because we're up to our ears in cryptocurrency here. I wanted to talk about something more related to our viewpoints as, anarchists, voluntarists, libertarians, etc. And I wanted to talk about the government shutdown.
Oh, that's hugely important. Everybody's underestimating how significant it is. It's devastating to the overall impression that people have towards government. Is government reliable, stable? Is it the thing you go to make your life better? I mean, the shutdown shows that it's a central point of failure, and it's unreliable, it's inefficient, and really is essentially catastrophic. Like, if you want your service to work, the last thing you want is to be regulated by government at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's insane, though, that it's seen as a form of oppression for government to not, they're still taxing us, so it's not really shut down, but overall, they're not extorting us to the same extent. They're not funding these programs that destroy the markets and cause all these problems.
Here's the thing that's actually interesting about it. The shutdown has hurt industry a lot, but in very particular ways. Like, the SEC is not approving any IPOs. The BATF is not approving any new beers. There's all these the people who are seeking exemptions from these wicked taxes they call tariffs are not allowed to get exemptions anymore because the US TR is shut down. So it's affecting industry profoundly. And business people are very smart. When something like this happens to your industry, you get extremely cautious in the future. It's like this dog is biting them. And from now on, they're going to be less willing to go up and pet it. It's really important. Already, confidence in government is at historic lows. And we don't really understand this, but you have to put your mind back into 1964 and realize that 70% of people polled said they trusted the government to do the right thing. Like 76%. Now it's down to about 15%. I think after the shutdown, it's going to be getting to maybe single digits or something. And the fact is, you cannot sustain a model of managing society when 90% of everybody thinks it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and of course you're going to hear the same people go, well, the people can't afford, to get food because they're not giving them food stamps or something like that. In a month, they won't be able to get food, and it's like this sob story of without government, how will we have food and how will we, walk down the street?
More and more, the question is, with government, how do we have food? With government, how do we have streets? Yeah. It's just such a catastrophic institution. I don't think it's about left and right anymore. Because, both the organized left and right in Washington are rallying around the credibility of the state, but they're fighting so hard with each other that they're actually undermining it. And it's going to hurt them both. It's going to hurt Trump's trade wars and the Democratic Party's longing for national health care and 70% taxation. I don't think any of these people are going to get away with any of this crap in the future.
Yeah, and it's a lot different than what we've seen in the past with past government shutdowns. I have to admit, going into it, I'm going, well, under Obama, they paid more money for people to guard the national parks with ridiculous little gates that were like 5 feet long that people could just walk around, right? It was just absolutely absurd. This time around, and I don't like to give Trump a lot of credit because I'm not a big fan of the guy, but overall, this is actually affecting the government in a very significant way.
I agree with you, actually, about this. I think Trump is accidentally destroying the credibility of government in a funny way. I'm not sure he set out to do it, but I tell you what, he is such a petty person that he actually has no affection whatsoever for the entire public sector because he knows that these people did not vote for him. This is actually true. He's like an old-fashioned, old-world dictator. It's like if you support him, he supports you. If he knows for sure, and the public sector employees voted 90% against Trump, he knows these people are his enemies, and so he doesn't care. So actually, but the funny thing is, for Trump, it's all about Trump. But what he's actually doing and seeking to shore up his own base is smashing the credibility of the institution he currently heads. That's really significant. I don't think he intends to do it, but that's what he's doing.
And unfortunately, there are really kind of more nefarious reasons for the government shutdown, which is, we need funding for this border wall, and we need to create this basic police compound where, somehow the government owns land, and that's somehow conservative for, the government, like a communist empire, to own the land and own everything that's in it and tell people who can or cannot come in.
What's funny about that is that something like 2/3 of the border is privately owned. So if he actually builds this wall, it'll be the largest confiscation of private property probably in American history.
Sounds pretty conservative. Anyway, so going for, he did say that he's looking towards even as much as a few years of a government shutdown, which is like fantasy land for me. But
if that actually happens, our future is going to look very different from the past, I tell you. And I'm kind of excited about it. This only really dawned on me within the last week. Like, wow, this is actually serious. This is actually epic. This could be the moment. The moment where it's revealed to be unsustainable. The actual paradigm shift. I think everybody's underestimating the importance of what's happening right now.
And we did notice as well that, the EPA ran out of money, the FDA isn't checking food, and wow, amazing, we don't have heroin needles in our cereal. It's crazy. Imagine that. Businesses actually have to depend on people's demand. But going from that, and this kind of happened in Spain a few years ago too, I believe. They had a government shutdown, and I remember it went for a decent amount of time where there wasn't really a government in place. They're still extorting and stealing people's money and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, sure. But, overall, this is a really positive thing going forward.
I think it is, and what we really need to do, and I think this is a job of responsible intellectuals and public figures like yourself and so on, is that we need to constantly instill confidence and freedom. I think that's sort of what we lack right now, which is why this is a little bit scary too. We don't yet believe in freedom as a model of managing society. We used to, 19th century. But 20th century was a period of totalitarianism, and the 21st century we're discovering that it's not worked. The question is, what does work? And that's where there's no unity yet.
And finally, I just wanted to go into something here that I find interesting, because it goes to show that there's two sides of this. There's the market reacting, and instead of like a protest and asking the government to do stuff, the government just isn't doing things, and the market is providing instead. And then we have the yellow vest movement, which is kind of confused. It's kind of like the populist movement. It's like, no death to taxes, but we want guaranteed basic income at the same time.
Right. These populist movements are all the same. You see it with Black Lives Matter. You saw it with the Tea Party movement. You see it with the Wall Street, Shutdown Wall Street movement, whatever that thing was. These populist movements are always against the elites, but they're not always united on what they're for. But what's significant about the Yellow Vest movement is that it's a response to an increase of the gas tax, which was supposed to be some sort of way to deal with climate change, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes the economic reality is like a brick wall people bump into. If they can't get even the simple tax like that passed in France, what hope is there for their global plan to shut down fossil fuels? I don't think there's any hope for that.
Yeah, it's like you mentioned, you said it perfectly. There's the Occupy movement, which, by the way, started kind of like an End the Fed movement, and then same with the Tea Party, started kind of like an End the Fed movement. Both of them got co-opted. Both went either far right or far left, and protest doesn't seem to work. Every time we have a revolution, we have a more violent government. But when you have the market react to things and people just be forced, like Venezuela, for example, the Bolivar crashed, and the government is whipping them, and they're going, well, you know what? I don't really care what the government says anymore. I'm using Dash. I'm going to barter. I'm going to trade on the streets and feed my family. Never mind what government says.
That's right. And fortunately with crypto, we now have an alternative. And that's what we didn't have in the past. The only alternative in like 1933 to avoiding the government default was just to collect gold and hoard it. Well, that's okay, but it actually doesn't really help you live a better life. Crypto is actually designed to help you live a better life.
Absolutely. Well, it's great seeing you bring anarchy to this conference here, Jeffrey. Can you just, as per usual, tell everyone where they can find more of your work and support you?
I work as the editorial director of the American Institute for Economic Research, AIER.org. We were founded in 1933, been around 85 years doing good stuff and doing better stuff than ever now. Thank you.
And you and Edward Stringham doing incredible work over there. I love it. So thank you very much for talking with us again.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Like what you see here, OM? Don't forget to check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon. We can't can't do it without you. Any donation is very much appreciated, especially as we are so vastly demonetized and censored on YouTube, as these guys come in and flag all of our content as hate speech. Also, check out our Bitcoin address below as well as on the screen for you to scan if you please. And also check us out at steemit.com. We're at Josh Sigurdson. It's a future of social media where you get paid in the upvote of your post in cryptocurrency. Steem, that is. So make sure to check us out there. Make sure to join us at Anarchapulco 2019 with people like Ron Paul, G. Edward Griffin, of course, Jeff Berwick, Vid Jedlicka. So many incredible speakers are going to be speaking. It's just a massively growing event. It is something you have to see to believe. So make sure to check it out below and save money on your tickets by using promo code WAM, that's WAM, and I hope to see you there. Also, check out our newsletter as we are getting demonetized and censored and all that. We don't know what comes next, so we have an email, worldalternativemedia@gmail.com. Send us an email with subject line YES, YES, and we will include you in the newsletter where we will continuously keep you updated. So until next time, thanks for watching, everyone. This is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.
I'm sure you have already changed people's minds in your young age because you're involved, and I like that.